Okay, I'm going to do a quick video today before I start working on force feeding yourself to eat during the day. This is a huge struggle for people with eating disorders who give themselves a certain amount of time, a certain amount of food that they're allowed to eat each day. So that it's like they're rationing out their food, right? So a smart person that knew that they were doing that and knew that at the end of each day they'd likely be hungry, what they would do is ration out that food so that the majority of it lands at night so that they aren't going to bed really hungry, right? And this may not be for everyone. This is a large majority of people. So they'll kind of graze, right? Heard that word, kind of graze or nibble on things here and there throughout the day, and then night comes and it's like now they know that all of these things that they've neglected or not allowed themselves to eat during the day, they now get to enjoy and eat. And so there's this excitement and anticipation that leads up to the evenings where they've been really good, they followed all their eating disorder behavior rules, they've moved enough if that's a compulsion for them, and it's like the highlight of their day is that night eating. So what I tell people in recovery is you have got to force yourself to eat earlier in the day. Like a lot of times I'll hear, but I'm not even hungry in the morning, but I just feel sick to my stomach when I wake up. I don't have any appetite for lunch, all these things. Well, the reason that you don't feel hungry or the reason you don't have a big appetite earlier in the day is because you've conditioned yourself, right? Over the years, you have conditioned yourself or your body to not eat during the day. Your body's not stupid. It's not going to keep telling you to be hungry when you're ignoring it and not eating, right? So just kind of those signals go away and you can go about your entire day not eating, right? Likely thinking about food, but just it's not even an option to eat, so you don't really entertain it very much, right? So an analogy I want to use is, let's say that you had a monthly budget, right? We're going to talk about money here. Let's say you had a monthly budget of a certain amount of money each month. Now, if it was already kind of like, if your budget was tight, let's say, a smart person would be pretty careful throughout the month, right? And then anything left over towards the end of the month, they would spend knowing that their budget starts over again in the new month, right? Does this sound familiar to people with eating disorders? The similarity is that tight budget, restriction, and food, right? Both very similar. I hope you're following me here. Now, what if I were to tell you, and this is basically what happens when you give yourself permission to eat, you become a millionaire. You have $1 million to spend every month. Are you going to be rationing out your money and hoping you have enough at the end of the month? Are you going to feel really secure with your financial situation, knowing that probably $1 million is going to cover anything and everything that you might need or want, right? I want you to think about your eating the exact same way. I want you to think about the food that you're eating in recovery, when you're eating unrestrictedly in large amounts of food, that you've just become like a millionaire of food. You should have food all over the place. There's no saving food. There's tons of it. In fact, it's almost annoying how much food there is that you've got to get through eating. You just keep eating. So you just have this huge flow of food coming in. That's how I want you to think about unrestricted eating, and how I want you to think about when you're trying to force yourself to eat during the day and it feels so uncomfortable and you have this like scarcity mindset and this fear that, oh no, then I can't enjoy all the things that I want to eat later tonight, and oh, you know, then even if I do eat it and I try to get myself to eat the things later at night, then I'm not going to enjoy it as much. And all of that thinking, just think, wait, hold on. I can eat as much as I want. I have plenty today to eat, plenty tonight, plenty tomorrow. I have so much money coming in, aka food coming in. No worries, I can do this, okay? Now, that's how I want you to change, if you are restricting during the day, your mindset. I think the problem that happens and where people struggle with fully understanding unrestricted eating is it's like they have these two lives. The first part of the day, or majority of the day, they're adding little things and challenging things and it feels like they're doing recovery, right? And then night comes and it's a whole nother ball game. You know, they've eaten 10 times the amount that they did earlier in the day, and then it's like, holy cow, I can't believe how hungry I was. And then they go to bed and they do that same thing in the morning and they play it safe and play it safe and play it safe, and the night comes and it's like, oh my gosh, how much I can eat, right? That inhibition kind of comes down and that appetite goes up, and you have trained yourself to know that this is the only chance you're going to get all the food you need in the day. Go for it, okay? So when you start eating more during the day, and this is such an important thing to talk about and make sure you understand, people will ask me, but I don't want to let go of my binge at night, but I don't want to stop eating all that food at night, but I'm afraid I'll go to bed hungry, but then I can't look forward to X, Y, and Z that I eat after my kids go to bed, all that stuff. So not only will I say it's okay to still eat all those foods that you eat late at night, let's just make a rule so that all the thinking goes out of it. It's like, should I not today? I don't know. All the thinking goes out of it. You just have a rule that you still will eat all of that food later at night. With one exception. If all of that food is really, really safe food that you're eating, if you're still in that like very disordered ritual, this order, then this order, then this order, this order, well, you need to be eating tons more earlier, because clearly that's very much somebody who's in a big deficit, who's acting like food is scarce. So if you're in that boat, then you've got to completely change all your safe foods to more challenging foods, the foods, at night that you look forward to. Then also, not only for sure eating them at night, but also forcing yourself to eat them in during the day, earlier, okay? Now, if you're one that's like, well, no, like I got rid of my safe foods that I binged on at night, now I actually am eating scary foods at night, but I can only eat them at night, same thing. You have to force yourself to eat them earlier in the day, with the rule that you're going to have them again later. Not, I'll have them later if I feel like it, because you know what's going to happen. Your eating disorder is going to convince you that that's a horrible idea, and that's how you're going to gain all this weight so fast, and you're going to lose control, so you can't. So you make a rule. I'm eating this food, like the candy bar for me. I'm eating this candy bar in the morning, right when I wake up, and then I will have one this afternoon as well. Regardless if I feel like it after lunch, candy bar is going down. That's kind of how I had to start thinking, so that it wasn't this like, oh, I'll have a candy bar, and then if I feel like it later, I do. And then in the moment, that fight or flight decision, it's like, heck no, I'm not doing that. I can't believe I'm doing that. I have to eat the candy bar again in the morning. I can't have it this afternoon. And then I set up this rule, or wanted to. I think I caught myself after a day or two of being like, I remember, like the first or second day I did it, just being like, oh, darn, I really want a candy bar, but I had one for breakfast. And I caught that thought and was like, or I had one right when I woke up. I caught that thought and was like, wait a second, no. This rule's just popping up again. I gotta fight this. So then I made that rule, okay, now we're eating candy bars in the afternoon too. So recovery is just all about you outsmarting your eating disorder, right? And you being braver than your eating disorder voice. So hopefully this video helped you if you are restricting during the day. And even if you're eating a lot more than you were before, like let's say you're in recovery and you're eating a lot more and you really feel like you're doing well, but you notice that it's still very imbalanced, like your day eating is better and your night eating is just still like the majority of your food, you got to look at that, evaluate what's going on and be like, hold on, but I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire of food. I don't have to ration this. I can have as much as I want. And then if I don't feel like eating it during the day, I still have to force it because I conditioned myself to not be hungry during the day. And what you'll notice within a few days of doing that, and I've seen this with clients over and over and over again, within a few days of challenging that and eating that big, huge breakfast and eating these big snacks and meals and all that and lunch and everything all throughout the day, after a couple days, they're like, I actually woke up hungry. Or I finished my breakfast and was still hungry. And it freaks them out, but it's like, that's exactly what should be happening, right? Your body's responding to that food it's getting in. It is really hungry and it wants more. So, all right, with that, have a wonderful day. Bye.